Hi, it's Matt Giggs and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today is a little bit of a different one actually. Different from my estate agency stories and skills and training. This is about how I lost my football career, my pro football career. So before I get into that, who am I? My name's Matt Giggs and I've been an estate agent for over 28 years. I started as a junior, as a T-boy. I learned all the way up the corporate ladder. I've been an independent estate agent. I've gone into business ownership, started my own estate agency, and it's now the Giggs Group, selling over £1 billion worth of property. And I've mentored, trained thousands of estate agents to do the same across the UK. That is what I'm here to talk about, is how I can help you to go from being an estate agent to being a business owner to having the best career, just like I have had over the last 28 years. So, how I lost my professional football career. Well, I'll tell you what, before we dive right into that, what I'm going to do is take you back to the start, when I was a little boy. And I can tell you now, from the age of about 5, I think I can probably just about remember back, because that's a long time ago now. Every time I woke up, I thought about football. That was all that was in my mind. I absolutely loved football. I look back at those moments now and just think to myself, that was literally all I was ever going to be. I thought I'd just show you this really. You can pretty much see here where the journey began. You can see the photographs of me and my brother and me at Bushmead School, junior schools, infant schools, the haircuts. You've got to admire that haircut. That's going to be back in fashion in about 20 years. All I did is I lived, breathed, dreamt about football. It was my everything. It was the thing that I threw every little bit of ounce and energy into. Because believe it or not, I never actually dreamt of being an estate agent. I never looked back to those days of, going to school and playing in playgrounds and everything else and thinking, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go and be an estate agent for 28 years. No way, right? It was football. I got on the ladder of training and playing, and I was at the Peterborough United School of Excellence, and I had England trials when I was about 14 years of age. I was at Leeds, I had trials at Leicester and all these different lovely places, and it was a pretty cool time looking back, I'm not going to lie. It was a really interesting journey. I look back at some of my decision making when I was like 15, and I remember I was training with Cambridge United at the time, and I got poached by Peterborough United, and I always remember the rationale for why I went from Cambridge United to Peterborough United, and it basically was the fact that Peterborough was easier to get to. There was a couple of lads that I knew, there was a coach that I knew there. It just seemed like a really easy decision at the time, and playing at Cambridge United, actually I was playing some of my best football at a younger age. But although I was playing some of my best football, it was easier to kind of go and join Peterborough United and go down that particular road. And actually that was quite a pivotal decision, to be honest, because when I was at Cambridge United, I was playing with a lot of lads who I look back on years down the line who ended up playing first team football. I made my decision based on comfort. I suppose when you're that sort of age, you don't really know how to think and what's the right thing for you. But I suppose if I was to go back now and switch myself into that 15-year-old self, what would I have done differently? Well, I'll tell you what I would have done is I would have wanted to stay outside of my comfort zone. Because actually, I slipped into my comfort zone and I slipped backwards in my learning and my ability. And actually, not long after joining Peterborough United and in my first game against Norwich City, I remember breaking a bone in my foot and I was injured. And it all started to kind of go wrong at that point, and I had a pretty crap first year as an apprentice. Started mixing with the wrong crowds, probably outside of football, enjoying what I'd consider to be another life as such, and maybe taking my eye off of the game. And it really did affect my chances of progression, because I always remember it was about March time and I got tapped up by somebody who was connected to Rushden and Diamonds, and a few little promises were made, and on the back of a few promises I ended up going to my gaffer and the head honcho at the Peterborough United and asking if I could get a decision as to whether I was going to get a pro contract. And I always remember that. It was a straightforward no. We're not giving out decisions right now. If you don't want to wait, you have to go. And I ended up leaving. And I remember walking out of there. I hadn't even told my mum and dad. They didn't know their son was just about to walk out on his football career. But I did. I walked out, I walked down the road, walked towards the train station, and I was thinking, what the fuck have I done? What am I doing? Next thing you know, I was in labouring jobs. I was on building sites, I was at power stations, I was in trenches, I was carrying crap around sites. All of a sudden, my identity had just completely shifted and disappeared. I felt like I was lost. And around this time, I actually, my brother Andy passed away very suddenly. And he died of meningitis, which is why I've raised a fair amount of money for meningitis over the years. And you can imagine what this is like for a young man of, 19 I was at the time, standing in a hospital in London. And then next thing you know, I'm in a room with the doctors, with my mum and dad, being given a decision to turn off my brother's life support machine. The feeling of just feeling completely desperate and lost, not really knowing what the hell I'm doing, what am I supposed to do? How the hell do you deal with this shit? You're asking us to, I'm involved in making a decision to turn off my brother's life support machine. What? What's that all about? I think my life spiraled pretty much at that point. Things just kept going wrong. And it was almost like, why me? I found myself feeling really lonely, and you start turning to things like drugs and alcohol and social circles and pushing yourself outside of your values. And it was shortly after that I started learning to drive, because I was feeling so lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. That my mum actually said to me, she cut out a newspaper advert and said, look, there's a trainee estate agent's job. Your Uncle Philip used to work for Harrods Estate Agent. He said, you'll be really good at it. You should go and do it. And I just remember thinking to myself, yeah. It says you need a driving license. Yeah, it's some sales experience. I want none of those things. And imagine it. I was really in this mode of feeling sorry for myself and being a real victim, I suppose, to all of the things that had happened, which were outside of my control and some were inside my control. But I was so focused on negativity and my self-talk and blame and just feeling really sorry for myself. But it was my mum that just said, just go and ask, you don't know. And I remember coming away from the house, walking into the town, because obviously I didn't drive. And I walked to the estate agents in the town, and I've told this story on another video, but walked in there and got greeted by a very enthusiastic and energized guy until he probably realized I wasn't necessarily going to buy a house. Inquired for the job, sat down in front of the manager. The manager said, why do you want to apply to be an estate agent? You don't have a driving license. And I just said, I love helping people. And it was almost like that moment was like a lifeline. I look back now and think 28 years later, I'm sitting here doing videos, obviously apart from this one, but talking about how I help estate agents to scale their careers and their abilities, and how to achieve things in their life which are probably unimaginable where most people are at a particular time. And I go back now and look at that moment and think to myself, after 3 interviews and getting the job and everything else, that all of a sudden I had the skills and a passion to do something again. I loved helping people. I loved the recognition of helping people, and I had a bit of competitiveness about me. So being an estate agent was really, really kind of like, in a corporate environment, you were encouraged to be quite competitive. It started to help me go from feeling sorry for myself to finding something to focus on, and to actually attach what the job really was all about to the things that I valued the most: recognition and helping people, feeling passionate about helping people, actually competing to help people and being really there for people and relatable and connecting, building relationships. And it seemed to come quite natural, a bit like the football did early in my career. But I lost my career, I lost my brother, I lost a lot of things in the same period of time. And my mindset, when it was in a negative state and a negative place, seemed to just draw more of the sort of negativity and those shitty energies around me. And it was only when this step of getting this opportunity to be a trainee estate agent is almost like when a new light at the end of a very long tunnel began to appear. And it was at that point when I started to think to myself, I can do this. This is a career that I could get into and I could enjoy. And when I now think forward, perhaps to where I am now and the current crises that we face in our industry, the economic crises that you face as a business owner around making big decisions and having really dark days, dark moments and challenges that I can only tell you over the years. Maybe I'll write a book one day, but the challenges that I've had just in recent years, I've been able to deal with the resilience and the understanding and the perception and the perspective that if I take these challenges on, if I embrace these challenges, I'm only going to get better, stronger, clearer, and I'm only going to be able to help even more people when I move forward from this place. I just popped a little quote on my phone earlier that I suppose might resonate, and that's each time a door closes, the world opens up the next one. Lots of doors close, and that's okay. And there's a chapter in your book which is just closed. But the next chapter begins the moment you turn the page. And for me, when I turn the page into estate agency, I've probably had a good 100 chapters in this career that have opened and closed, open and closed. As hard as this is to say, this probably doesn't make sense to everybody, but I'm a better person because my brother passed away. I'm a better person because I lost my football career. I'm a better person because I've been through those challenges. When you're going through those challenges, that's the last thought you've got in your mind. You don't think about being better or more resilient and anything else, but you're just fucking fighting. You're fighting your way through it. And I totally get that. And by the way, I can tell you in the last 12 months, I'm fighting through my challenges. But what holds me strong is the fact that I know what I'm going through now will pass. And what's about to come, I'm going to be even better equipped to take forward. And that's what I want you to take away from this. No matter what you're doing right now, you're watching this video, you'd have had something challenging in the last 12 months. Possibly a lot more than I've had. But I'm telling you now, you're going to get through it. And you're going to be better for it. Just consider, what are you winning? What are you learning? What are you changing from going through those moments that's going to help you towards your goals, your dreams, your desires? What are you truly passionate about is the part that I want to get across to you. Because when I look back now about my decision making, when the decision making was poorer, it was done on short-term results, not long-term gain, not long-term vision. My results were born out of bad decisions and good decisions. When I followed my passion and my heart, I've ended up in a career that has literally changed my life. When I followed the quick wins, the easy route, the comfort zone, it's ended up with me falling backwards, falling out of love with stuff, and actually falling into a place where I wasn't growing anymore. Follow your passion and your heart first. Connect with that. Get really clear about what it is that lights you up, what it is that makes you feel alive, because that is a decision that you can make today. And that is the way you should make decisions going forward. Don't look at the quick, easy wins. Look at the longevity, the long game. Go into doing the right things for you, your passion, your values. But understand, even in the darkest moments, you're growing beyond measure. So there you have it. How I lost my football career, and probably a number of other things now you've watched the video. And I hope you've took some lessons away from this, because I suppose me sharing completely and bearing my soul to you in this video is for you really to take away stuff that's going to really help you move forward as well. So please just comment in the comments section, in the descriptions box. There's so many tools and resources that are on offer for you. And don't forget, hit the notifications bell, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because you are going to get even more content moving forward. But I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. It's really important to me that I feel I can help you to progress, scale your career and enjoy your world of estate agency, just like I've done over the last 28 years. See you soon.